Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you're doing well and fabulous. We're excited to be with you. We are live today. We should get a little button that says up in the like top right, top left, that we're live. It's exciting to be here. It is a beautiful snowy day in Minnesota. You look out the studio windows, you see snow everywhere. White Christmas definitely going to happen. After that, we'll see. I'm joined by a cast of characters that are great and fabulous and wonderful people. We're going to start with the most festive people in the room at the moment, and that happens to be Lily.
Hello, Merry Christmas.
How we
I
doing?
am festive. I have stuff.
Yeah, you got stuff. You got your red
Actually, let me
on.
set this up.
You got a camouflage green cup. Well done. You just got it going on. And then we go downgrading to the Christmas spirit to Joey, who is Grinching. Yeah, it's like, no, it's actually like...
I asked Michaela how I looked this morning. She said, great.
But probably neither of you thought I should be wearing red or green.
Yeah,
I thought about it.
You did? And then what happened?
I thought I don't...
You thought against it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess
fair.
I was Grinchy. I don't know. I got this from my mom the other day, and I'm like, I'm going to wear it.
It looks good. But
So
again,
shout out, Mom.
Shout out, Mom. You got to like Mom. Hey, we're going to use this shot really quick. Over here in this corner, you cannot see him very well, but our brand new puppy, Solo, is sleeping in that box. Like,
Yeah,
you don't...
you can see his ear flopping out of it.
This is bad camera form, everyone, okay? And then we'll get to Dwayne. But I'm going to point to him. It's bad. It's bad to camera work. This is his little ear.
Oh.
It's him
He's
just sitting
sleeping.
there in the
Oh my
box.
gosh, he
It's
just
great.
looks so cute.
What I'll do is I'll post, Lily will take a picture and we'll post a picture of the what does it look like. But let's get to Dwayne, who's down in Mississippi. I'm not sure what Dwayne's wearing today, if he's very festive or not. Dwayne, how we doing in Mississippi?
I'm good. Got my
He's
green on.
Oh, yeah, and
got
a
the
tree.
Christmas tree in
Oh.
the background. So
Dwayne wins it all.
yeah,
Hands down. Winner chicken dinner. Well done, Dwayne. That's impressive. You look good, man. You look good. How are you doing? You all your Christmas shopping done, Dwayne?
Not quite.
Not quite. Okay,
But
neither's
a few
mine.
things to pick up.
No, okay. I've got a few things I got to pick up. Okay, we're in the same. Yeah. I told my kids this morning, hey, don't let me forget. On the way home from church, I got to stop at Target. Never do I do that. So
Have fun.
yeah,
That's
they
so
said,
good.
"Are we picking up, Dad? Are we going in?" I go, "Oh, we're doing it old school. We're going in.
Oh boy, you're gonna spend more than you planned.
We're gonna tussle." Oh, I like doing that. It's called shopping. I'm not picking up, and I'm not
Wait, so
grazing.
you're shopping for your wife? Or
Well,
the
yeah,
kids are all with you?
No, I'm not
That
shopping
doesn't
for the kids.
Yeah, it's like...
That doesn't work,
That
Joey.
doesn't work.
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna go. Gotta get some stuff for Holly.
Okay.
I know it's there because I did pre-shopped on the internet on that thing,
All
you
right.
know they call the internet. Pre-shopped. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna get that done today,
Shopping
Dwayne.
by committee.
Yeah,
shopping
then we're
by
gonna take the
committee.
kids in. Totally gonna blow the bank account because they're all coming and they got opinions, and I'm gonna remind them nicely. These gifts aren't from you. It's from me, and you're coming along because you're just coming home from church. So, nonetheless, going to get that done. Put in the chat today if you are done with your Christmas shopping. We'd like to applaud you. You're a hero amongst commoners. Joey, how much more shopping do you have to get done?
0.
You're done?
Good job, Joe.
No, that means he doesn't shop.
Done. That is
you-
exactly correct.
Did
I
you
was going
get
to say...
anything?
No.
Nothing for your wife.
No.
You
What?
guys don't do gifts?
No. No, we...
Oh my gosh.
I mean, no, I think we're gonna do this new little tradition. We're gonna give like a card, and we're gonna like have a date. So like I'm gonna write a date that
Like an actual date on the calendar or like a date of you two going out?
Like us going out.
yeah.
So I'm gonna do a date. I'm gonna make a date and give it to her, and she's gonna make a date
Awesome.
for me. I think
So
that's
fun.
at least we've been communicating about that. That's what my coworker's doing, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I like that.
That's
Yeah, it's
fun.
cool.
So I think that's what I think we're gonna.
Now,
do
the
that.
problem with, I could see the problem with that for me is I would not execute said date. I'd have it wrote down, but then
then
I'd
not do
never
it?
get to the date.
Yeah, but you gotta do it.
I know you do. That's the problem. I'm not that good. So, you well done.
But you are.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you. Like, if I put it on the calendar and then all of a sudden something comes up, I'd be like, babe, we can't do that. We got to go help this
Yeah,
individual. So it's
do
like,
that.
I got to get it done on Christmas Day or it's not happening.
Yeah, we're all about the experience. for
Yeah,
this.
experience. I like that.
Nice.
That's great. I mean, like we are too around here. That's why we teach kids how to be lumberjacks out here. Experience what it's like to live in the 1800s and heat
Yeah.
your house by firewood.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. I
And
like that
Michaela's got
idea.
all the gifts for the kids.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna be just as surprised as the kids are.
100%.
Lil, are you done?
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a little trip to Cabela's tomorrow, but
Ooh.
it's mainly because I need to add to a gift first for my brother-in-law, and I might just pick a few things up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got.
Because you're
Gonna spend more than
he's
you
a
planned
lot.
on it. Oh, we got. Let's see. In here, we got Steve from Michigan saying he's done. We have Katie saying almost done. Dan and Jen been done. Jennifer says, or Jen Woodman. Dan says done. Check. Praise the Lord. Hand emoji and throwing a party emoji. That's awesome. I'm almost done. Just I got to get a few things. I can't tell you
okay.
what I got to get, but I don't. I'm not sweating it, and I don't need to do any last minute deliveries, so it's good.
good.
Okay. So good to check in with everybody.
What about Dwayne?
Oh yeah, no. Dwayne said he's done.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
missed that.
I just got to
was
get a
looking
few
at the-
ornaments. Like you can see.
Wait,
kinda see
Dwayne, you can't
ornaments
say
on the-
that.
or-
What if your family's listening? Oh my goodness.
You got to get
They,
ornaments.
That is a-
they
that
know
is a-
they're getting ornaments. They know they
Oh.
get ornaments every year.
Okay.
So we just got to pick it out. So
Nice.
we get an ornament for each kid in their stocking, and then once they become of age and they go off and they get their own Christmas tree, then they'll have ornaments to put on the Christmas tree.
I like that a
that's
lot.
Good, Dwayne.
I like that a lot. That's
Ah.
a great thing to do.
yeah.
Sets them up well.
Yeah. This
And
is
each year,
I
it's like their different interests and things like that. Like we kind of go there. Like forever, Harley was like loved pigs. Like that was her favorite animal. So we got her
Kids.
like, a little pig.
Yeah.
Aw, I like pigs too.
You don't.
Oink oink.
You
They're
don't
cute.
like pigs.
They're cute.
No, they're not. No, piglets are
Tasty.
cute. Tasty. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. But like, pigs grown up are not cute. Piglets, hilarious. But anything little is cute.
Agree.
Kittens, cute. Full grown cat, not so good. Nasty. That leads me to the story last night. About 10:30 or so, I looked outside. It's a winter evening, good, decent amount of snow, and I was like, I gotta go sledding. So with no preparation, no gloves, no mittens, no nothing, just full on slipper mode, ran out the door, and I went sledding down the hill.
Oh my.
Took our chocolate lab, and the dog bit me, and I was just reminded that it made me bleed.
Why did he bite you?
Because he thinks that's
He was
it's a game.
excited?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He bit my leg. That was bleeding.
Is there a difference between these chocolate labs and black
Yeah, they're
labs?
dumb. Chocolate labs, white labs, dumb.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. It's genetically bred into them to be stupid.
But is it actually?
It is really. It's a downgrade for sure. Like, and I'm being funny, but I am being serious too. Like, here's the deal: all dogs wish they were Labradors, and every Labrador wish they were black. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And so, we have this black lab. I'm a big fan of black labs, and they're dialed. Like, they're working dogs. They're like it. Anything other than that, Wookie's a great dog. He's a few bricks short of a stack. I mean, he's great, but he's just aloof a little bit. Is that the right word? Okay, I need some
Yeah.
help really quick. Yesterday we had a competition in the house. We're gonna do taste testing. We had a competition of baking. And so I thought it'd be fun to bring in some cookies today that our kids baked. I had nothing to do with these.
Wow.
These are, let's get to see if the tight shot will give a good representation of the baking. All right, without tipping them all onto the floor. We have gumdrop cookies. They have actual gumdrops in them. So good. Oatmeal cookie. Oatmeal raisin cookie. And they were all baked very, very different. This is a gumdrop cookie as well, just done differently. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you guys sample and then tell us which one you like the best, okay? And so we're just going to break this. Dwayne, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to go with what these guys say in here, okay?
Dwayne probably is like,
I think
oh man.
I think Legends cookie looks the
Taste it?
best.
You don't even know what Legends cookie is. Get out of here.
This one smells really good.
I'm not even going to tell you. Legend loves you for
Should
that.
we take a bite?
Yeah, take a bite. Let's get it on. Let's get the wide shot there. They're taste testing here. Now you gotta savor it. You're gonna taste the same cookie, but from the other team here, okay? Because two teams made the same cookie.
Sweet.
Oh, it's an oatmeal raisin cookie.
Or it's
I
sweet.
like it.
Too
It's good.
sweet?
It's a little too sweet for me.
Okay. Here's the other
I'm
teams.
just not a big sweet, like really.
I don't believe that. I work with you every
I
day,
like-
and you pound sweets.
Yeah, you have
I
Starburst
like.
over there.
Yeah.
Did you take one?
No, but
You
I
can-
You
thought
should.
about
Yeah,
it.
you can't get more sweet than that. I'm just saying.
I love Starburst.
No, I disagree.
Okay. So which one do you like better? You're
haven't
gonna
had it
which one you pick is gonna get
Second
100
one.
points. Ooh, second point.
Yeah, it's less sweet. It's delicious.
It's delicious. I ranked the second
I
one.
even took a second bite.
The second one to me was like what you would find at a gas station.
No,
Yeah, that's what I felt like when I.
tastes fresh baked. This one has too much sugar.
Okay, Joey, what's your thoughts?
They're both so good.
Yeah, you gotta choose though. You can't play the grandpa
Wow,
card.
okay. I'm gonna say the first one.
First one. Oh, all right,
I-
tied. Okay, tied.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, this is nice, unexpected.
Yeah, unexpected.
Use
Here's
the
gumdrop
breakfast.
cookies.
A little nervous about this one.
You
I
are?
am too.
Why?
I want to know what kid made this one.
It's teams. Too sweet? What's the
I'm
face?
just good.
Lily's giving. What's that face for?
I don't like the gumdrop.
What?
Oh.
No, I don't think gumdrops belong in cookies.
Oh, I disagree strongly with you. Please put in the comments if you've ever had a gumdrop cookie.
The flavor's
They're awesome.
fine
The
otherwise.
gumdrop? No. Yeah,
You don't like the gumdrop either?
I don't like the gumdrop in the cookie.
Well, you're gonna have to decide which one you like better.
I have a feeling it won't be very
I
hard.
just don't like the gumdrop. I don't think.
What? That's the best part in it.
Like, I gotta get the gumdrop to make it.
Yeah, the gumdrop makes the cookie for sure. It's straight up a Christmas cookie with a gumdrop in it. It's like an elf made it. It's straight delivered. Somebody, please put in the comment if you've eaten these gumdrop cookies. They're a go-to, okay? All right, you're choosing between the gumdrop cookies. The first one or the second one? Lily's nibbling on these like hardcore. It's like she's actually in a baking
It
competition.
really, it's a gumdrop that
The
is
gumdrop
throwing
is-
me off.
Yeah,
What? Okay.
I'm gonna go with number two.
Number 2.
Number two.
Okay. Lily, well, okay, that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm going with number one.
Number 1.
Joey.
Not to go against Lily. I just
And did
the
you?
cookie part. I like it number one.
Yeah. So here's the crazy bit. You both stuck to the same team both times. Team Santa Slayer made the ones that you liked, and Tinsel Titans made the ones
That's
you
you,
liked.
Legend,
Yeah.
right? Let's
Yeah.
go. You're welcome.
So Steven, here you go. Will you hand that to
Wait,
Steven?
that's it?
That's it. There's only 2 cookies.
I thought there were more.
No, Steven gets to. Well, he gets to have some sampling of it. I brought it in, but he's over there running technology, and so
He's gonna be the tiebreaker.
he's going to be the tiebreaker. He'll have to.
I mean, they were all good. Like, I'm
Yeah, they were
impressed.
good.
You know?
But I don't like.
Well, I
gumdrop.
can't tell you that. He just asked, well, what team's what? That would be unfair information. If you just hold up the cookie, we can tell by the look of which you choose. And so, yeah, if you just decipher like the gumdrop, like that's the thicker gumdrop, I'll know whose that is. So, and so we'll find out for the tiebreaker here. Sorry, I can't send you any, Dwayne. We could probably mail them. I don't know how fresh they would be. But nonetheless, the sugar or the gumdrop cookie that you're just beating the mess out of in taste, that's my mom's recipe. You've offended her now.
Oh, she's in the chat. Tell us about these gumdrop cookies.
They're so good.
A lot
So
of people are
delicious.
saying they've never heard of them.
They're good, but not the gumdrop.
I'm just like not a gumdrop
never heard of
person.
them.
Oh,
the
I'm
sugar
telling you.
cookie is good.
Yeah,
without
sugar
the
cookie's
gumdrop.
good.
I don't know. I've just, but maybe it's a bit of nostalgic for
I
me in
think
it.
it might be. I don't know.
But when I tried it yesterday, I was like, yeah, that's a little bit of old school Scott right there. Yum, yum, yum. And I ate it all. In the team that created that, they were like, this is good. That he ate the whole cookie. Now they're not very big. But again, in our house, there's nothing like baking on Christmas. Dwayne, have you guys been baking around your house with 2 older little ladies?
It's funny. Ellen had a friend stay the night. Was it Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. And I just wake up at midnight and there's smells of cookies. in
Oh,
our
that's
house.
so fun.
So they baked cookies at midnight.
That is so fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's
Love
all right.
it.
That's a good way to wake up.
That's so fun.
You walk into my house. I walked in the house coming back from setup, and in the house it smells like a fireplace is burning, because it is, and cookies.
That's nice.
Somebody needs to bottle that up
smells.
and make it a candle.
Yeah,
I bet it
nothing
exists.
Better than that.
I know. It's straight up, and you look out the window, and it's a Christmas movie around here right now with the snow and everything. Okay, enough of the ranting on those things. But we're excited to be here. Dwayne, thanks for being with us today. A great topic today. We're going to take the story of the Christmas story, not the Santa Claus Christmas story and elves, though that's fun and great. We're going to take the story of the Christmas story found in the Bible that we call the Christmas story. It just happens to be history being documented of the Messiah being born and how it's been told. We're going to take the story from the beginning where the announcement of him happens, which is not the shepherds. It's with Elizabeth and Zechariah. They are the first ones to know about the situation. After 400 years of silence, an angel shows up to them, and then the same angel shows up to Mary. And we're going to talk about those and break it down. And we're going to answer the question, is it okay to question God? And answer to the question, how's this going to be? Because that's how both of them actually respond to the angel. How is this going to be? Because the odds seemed improbable. And so that's what we're talking about. Impossible versus probable. So let me ask this question, Lily. What's the difference between possible, improbable? Impossible and probable.
Impossible and improbable.
Yes.
I would say impossible will not happen, cannot happen. You know it will never be. And improbable are the odds are stacked against you, but it's possible.
Okay.
That's what I would say off the top of my head. I don't know if that's true.
Okay. Joey, how would you explain to your kids probable?
Probable?
Yeah, like you're saying we'll probably go sledding after church. You say that to your kids, they go, Dad, what's probably mean?
That you should be hopeful that we're going sledding.
You should be hopeful.
Yeah.
Is probable...
Probable, like...
Is that an
there's a
upgrade
good-
from maybe?
Yes.
If maybe's 50-50, probable pushes it 75?
No one uses the word probable.
Yeah.
We'll probably go.
But probably, sure.
I would
Probably
say-
is better than maybe, 100%.
Yeah. I would
Dwayne,
say
do you agree with that?
75%.
Probably is better than maybe?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. I use probably quite often around here, like with a lot of the things we're going to do.
How often is it a no in the end?
That's if time gets away from us, if we chose to do other things. So it's the intent. I think when somebody uses the word, we'll probably do that. The intentions are there. We're going to do that.
Right.
But when time runs out, it's just like, hey, it just didn't happen. I think a maybe is definitely when you're a parent. You say maybe when you know it's a no and you don't want to tell the child no. Maybe. I think that's where it is. So that's what we're talking about. The difference between probable and possible. This is how I break it down. Probable, likely to be the case or to happen or to be chosen. Well, I'll probably pick you. You know, if we were picking teams here, if we were going to do a pickleball game, I would probably most definitely pick Joey over Lily.
Me too.
Yeah. I watched both of them play recently. Dwayne, when you chose Team Lily for pickleball, you chose unwisely.
Dwayne, we were pretty good, though.
What?
We were.
I wonder where
We
you-
were.
How do you figure?
We just weren't really scoring.
Well,
that.
No,
They
we
were having
were.
fun.
We were scoring, but
Yeah, they were having fun.
we were having fun.
How many times you win?
Like twice or 3 times. It was not good.
Yeah, out of like a 20 games.
But they were high-scoring games, so we were competitors.
10 is the.
Yeah, but we kept up with the high score.
Oh.
We weren't like 2 to 8.
I feel
you
like
know?
when we played you, it was 2 to 8.
No. Anyways,
What?
moving on.
When Joey and I played you, at one point, Joey and I were like, they can't score. So for those that are watching at home, we did a leadership pickleball Christmas party. And so we went out and played pickleball. Joey's missus, Michaela, had gotten sick right before, and I said, hey, man, I'll play with you. And so no one really pushed back at the beginning about it, did they? It was after a bit they started pushing
yeah,
back.
it was after like this isn't fair.
This isn't fair because everybody else had to stay with husband and wife teams. And so I just stepped in. I took one for the team, you know. So we went on a run. Into the championship, we had pool play to bracket play. And, it's like the script was wrote, Dwayne. It was Joey Michaela versus Scott and Holly. But I couldn't be on two sides of the court. However, I did prove that I could do that. Remember the game we played
at the end.
We played
Yeah,
around the world, I guess I
was
would call.
that was impressive.
Have you ever done this? This was actually fun.
This is fun.
We all got our
That was
rackets.
Ping pong, not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
Same
exactly
thing.
that.
Yeah,
Same thing.
exactly.
Just a lot more running. And at the beginning, you got 20-some people doing it, so you're laughing, oh, this is so much fun. But as people get eliminated, it became a lot more of a problem. And so then it came down to, I think, Joey and I were the last two. And everybody's like, oh, this is impossible. There's no way. Joey hits it over to me, which means when I hit it back, I've got to get back to get to my shot before it either bounces twice or goes out of bounds. So I hit it, but I hit it at an angle knowing that's going to give me the best shot to get to there as fast as I could. And I got it over. Boom! Slammed it on Joey.
It was impressive.
It was pretty fun. It was a lot of luck.
maybe a little, but
It
was possible.
It's possible, baby. That's what we're talking about. It's probably. So we are taking Joey and Michaela, Holly, and I are out on a pickleball date because we need to know.
Yeah.
We need to know if they would have beaten us in all of that, or if it was like, hey, that's the way it goes. We are the best. So we're excited about that.
That's gonna be
And then
fun.
we got to bring when Elizabeth and Dwayne are up here. We're gonna have to do this all over again because they could be the thing that really jacks up the whole bracket.
It could be.
Dwayne, have you and Elizabeth ever played pickleball together?
Together?
Yeah.
No, we played tennis together. We played ping pong together. But
Oh, okay,
pickleball,
that's good.
Nice.
That was the funny bit, man. When everyone was like, "Wait, I'm with my spouse," and it was usually the husbands. They were like, "Wait, what?" And it was hilarious to watch the spouses compete and try to encourage each other. It was really funny. It was great.
I've got to go back. I've got to go home with this person, so I've got to.
Yeah, that was the
I've got to
thing.
be wise.
Yeah, Lily at one point thought she did the coolest thing, which was she scored against me and she cheered as if she won the game.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, and it was like you
I'll
have
take
9 more
every
points.
Win
Yeah.
I can get.
9 more points to go, but Jordan's like, that was only 1 point. She's like, but it was against Scott.
I was
that
cheering
a-
on
that was,
every.
That was a win for her.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. She went home. She slept well that night. She did. Okay. Okay, so here's a question for you. Let me ask this question, Dwayne. When God shows up in any situation, is he usually dealing with the impossible or the probable? When God shows up in the scene on any matter, it can be biblical, it can be in lifetime today. Is he dealing with the impossible or the probable? Ooh, Dwayne's thinking on this. And Joey's grateful that you're here today, Dwayne, because this one was thrown to you. What do you think?
I'll
Can
say
you
the
guys
probable.
the probable? So
Yes.
a virgin birth is probable.
No, that's not. That's
Oh.
not.
Okay. An 80-year-old woman giving birth, probable.
No.
Oh, do you want to change your answer, Dwayne?
Did you mean today?
I said all of it.
I don't.
Okay.
I still
I
think.
like
I still
It's
think
probable to
God
God.
is at work. God is at work in our lives. Like He can do the probable or the improbable and the impossible. But I think more often in our lives, He's working on in, let's say subtle ways, but He's doing things that's really like we hear this impossible, stuff, and then
Yeah.
we expect the impossible in our lives, and it's like, well, that He can do that, but more often than not, He's working in the improbable, not the impossible realm for us.
Okay, I like this. Now, that leads us great. This is a good setup for the series that we've been playing here during the Christmas season. It's just the Journey to, and today we're got a great one where it's a journey to the nativity scene. The star appears, okay? And so we're going to throw it to that as you think about, for you personally, is God dealing with the impossible or the probable? Is it maybe you got a relationship that's fallen apart? Is it probably going to be resolved because God's going to show up? Or is it impossible because you're trying to do... this is an interesting conversation, good topic. And so as you watch this, is it even this Christmas story, is it a probable story or impossible story? We'll answer that question when we get right back. Lily's going to answer that when we get done watching this video, when the star appears in the journey to the nativity scene, as we call it. The Bible didn't call it the nativity scene. We have done that. Thank you, Hallmark. Enjoy this video. We'll be right back.
Your family tree. It'll tell you a lot about what you're made of. Jesus' family was no different. Chock full of folks much like this piece of cedar board here. Twisted, flawed, full of imperfections. People least likely to be picked out of the pile. You and me, we would not want any of these people in our family tree. So why would a perfect God choose imperfect people to tell a perfect love story? In Noah, he saw a righteous man even though he knew he would succumb to drunkenness. He made Abraham the father of many nations even though he lied about his own family. He gave Sarah the miracle of birth even though she laughed at God in disbelief. Rebekah deceived her husband, but God continued his covenant. Jacob stole his brother's birthright, but God blessed his lineage. Joseph was left for dead, but God made him a ruler. Judah lacked integrity, but God restored him. And Rahab was a prostitute, but God gave her faith. Hezekiah was imprudent. Samson lusted. Josiah waged war. David murdered. And Solomon indulged. Jesus' family tree, full of flaws. And why? Because God can see the finished product in his children. God has a way of just gathering up all the broken pieces, even the ones that are convinced that they are forgettable, unseen, deplorable, far from perfect. And only like a loving father can, he looks at him and he says, you, come on. We've got some work to do. And on that first Christmas, God made the announcement by hanging a star in the sky, a beacon, if you will, to all those that are hurting, feeling unworthy, broken, to come and find Jesus. And this Christmas, the message is still the same. So my friend, set your eyes on the star. God is calling you out of the night to let go of your past, to surrender the knotted life and the rough edges. God is making something new.
Yep, that pretty much ties in last week when we were talking about family trees and into the impossible and probable. I want to read part of the story, but we're first going to let Lily answer the question that I had asked beforehand. Your answer is?
Based on the stories we're reading, I would say they're all impossible.
All impossible.
Yeah, like God is working with the impossible here.
He's
It's probable to him.
For sure. For sure. But is it most of the time when we're praying, are we dealing with probable or are we dealing with impossible? When we're praying, are we asking God to do the impossible because we can't do it on our own? Or are we asking God to do what is already probable? Dwayne, I'm throwing that question back to you because of the way you answered the question before.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think when you put it that way, when you ask like it like that, then it like, yes, like we want God to do the impossible. Yeah.
Okay. And maybe I should give an example of how to illustrate impossible versus probable. It would be like this. It would be like me driving to Brainerd, which is a couple hours north from here, and meeting by accident, just bumping into my second grade teacher in Brainerd. That probably could happen. If she was there and I was there, Miss Owens, if she was there, that's probably likely to happen. Now, impossible would be if I stayed right here, didn't travel, and still met her in Brainerd in the next minute. That's impossible. That would be like I had to vanish from here, appear there, and there she is, right? That's impossible. Are you tilting your head on this? Is this far-fetched, Dwayne?
Well, like, okay, like with that, like, yes, that would definitely be the impossible, but kind of like going back to what the video was just saying about, God still forgiving, was it Jacob and Esau? It's like, still blessing. It's like, that's improbable, but that's still, that would still say possible. Like, it wasn't something like, time travel or, something like that.
Right. I get that. But I do think when you come to mercy and forgiveness, that is probable. Not even probable. That's there. I would think we'd have to make a third category if you bring in grace and mercy and forgiveness because it is a true fact. And maybe it's factual that, when we approach God and ask forgiveness, we're forgiven. So that's not probable. That is impossible for man to do by himself. There's nothing I can do to right my wrongs. It is through a conversation with Jesus. So that component, when you brought in mercy and grace, twists it a little bit. Right? Wouldn't you say, Joey?
It does.
It does. Joey's like, yes, I agree, and I have nothing more to say. That's what his... Okay, so let's get to today's stories, and it is a story of, in my opinion, impossibilities. And oftentimes when I pray, I am praying for what I feel like is a miracle, which is impossible. Miracles are this: when something happens outside of physics, the laws of physics, the laws that are set in motion in the earth. A miracle is anything that goes opposite of those things. Okay? Like, that's the definition we use around here. What is a miracle? Anything that goes against the laws already set in motion in our world. Like, dead things are dead unless impossibility is interjected by God and there's a miracle. It's where God decides, when God decides to break the already set in motion laws of his world. That's a miracle. Do we still like that definition of what a miracle is, Dwayne?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so that's impossible. Miracles are impossible. It's, again, the illustration of a miracle. Is it a miracle if I woke up this morning and the tree that's by my driveway fell through the night and misses my car? Is that a miracle? Or is that just... No, the laws of physics and gravity and the way the tree grew with the twist, it fell that way. Now, if I woke up this morning, so I would say that's not a miracle. But if I woke up and the tree is hovering over my car, just floating in the air, that's a miracle. Because the laws of physics have been broken. Do we like this illustration? Joey?
Yeah.
You do?
I do. I do think that it's physics that the first example
of the tree
falling.
Yes.
But I also do think that God can possibly be in those moments of like just moving, possibly.
But then you would move to a miracle.
Yeah, right.
But no laws of physics were broken.
And that's the only definition of a miracle?
No, that's a working definition
That's
we're
what
using
you're
around
saying.
here. Yeah. I'm letting anyone poke.
I
at
just don't
it.
know if we can divide it.
Well, if you can't define it, then you can't say they're miracles. If you can't define it, then you can never call something a miracle. You gotta be able to define, and you can't be open-ended, because then everything. Well, you know what? On my way to Target today, I got a parking spot, and it was the first one. That's a miracle. When someone else is praying for a miracle for somebody to be healed, right? That makes it confusing. I got a miracle today. I got the first spot at Target. Lily's like, she was gonna say something. Now she's
No,
like,
I mean, I would say it's not just laws of physics. I would say it's anatomy laws too. Like someone to be healed, someone to
yeah,
give
natural laws
birth.
set into motion.
Sure.
No
one's interjecting in the chat
Yeah,
either.
it's 'cause
They're
it's a
getting
doozy.
stumped.
It's a bit of a doozy because we've never tried to. We have made the miracle conversation just open-ended, and everything now is a miracle. And I'm not trying to undersell God. I'm trying to give us a point where we know that's God. Now, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
So that makes sense. Your example makes sense.
I'm not trying to undercut God in this. God is awesome, big God, and he deals with the impossible. There's scriptures that talk about all those things. But what happens is we water down when God shows up and shows off, because it's like, oh man, I got my parking spot. Maybe God does play in those things, and I can't say he doesn't, but I wouldn't say it's a miracle. I would say God's working.
Elizabeth said maybe
Blessing.
the tree missing your car is a blessing.
A blessing. I like that. Elizabeth got it, and then I don't know if Dwayne, you came up with that, or you saw your wife's her comment. You saw her comment.
Saw my wife's.
Yeah, that's.
Yep.
Thank you. Again, sometimes I try not to create all the categories. I want that kind. I think there is where you start going. Oh no, this is God's. I used the word. What'd you say?
Favor.
Favor. That's God's favor. And not that, and here's the deal. I understand this with 8 kids. I cannot give the same favor all the time in 24 hours to every kid. Sometimes it's like the bank account doesn't allow it. So it's like, okay, who needs it more right now? Who needs new shoes right now? Because you ever do the math to go buy 8 pairs of shoes at one time? That's a lot. And so it's like, who needs new shoes? Who needs a pick-me-up? And so I think sometimes I correlate, not that I'm close to God, but I just wonder, as a loving father, he looks at going, who needs my favor right now that would help them be reminded I've not forgotten about them? And it can be simple like a parking spot or a note from somebody, right? Like it's those are where God just we talk about it in our house like this when God winks. I always picture God giving you that. I see you. I know what you're going to go through, and I've already been working in this. So I like that. I like God's blessing to kind of. That's a good one. Blessing, favor, and miracles. And I think what it does is it helps us be able to categorize it, because here's what I think. As we are followers of Jesus, those that have been followers of Jesus a long time, we don't need these explanations. We're just like, whatever, God is God, and I'm okay with that. But there are people that have these massive questions, and they get confused when everything is a miracle, when they're going, but I could create that. I could make that happen if I had enough information.
Couldn't you just say that a miracle is something that happens that's outside our ability, outside human ability? Which I guess a tree floating would be outside human ability.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but a tree that is
just thinking of
formed,
other ways to say
growing
it.
in a certain way, like, that's outside of our ability, but that's not outside of the realm of possibility.
Correct.
So,
Right.
so that would be the blessing of God watching over me and my car in that moment, like 30 years ago when the tree started growing, and
Yes.
formed it to where when it fell, at that exact moment, it would fall not on my car.
Right. It's even down to the house. Like, how did that miss my house? The house has been here forever. And it could be simple things like whoever planted the tree got distracted when they were digging the hole, and it just moved 1 inch away, which allowed that. God's like, I know what's going to happen when this thing's mature and it's going to die. I need this to be backed up a little bit. It's not a miracle. It's just favor. Because the way this tree's going to grow, it's going to twist, and it's going to, when it falls, want to fall on what. I like that. That to me is like, yep, because it's still playing in the laws that he set into motion. God is bigger than the laws he set into motion, and sometimes he interjects and goes, no, death is what happens when someone gets older or a disease gets them. Sometimes he goes, but that's not the end of the story. I'm about to deal with the impossible. And the Christmas story is packed full of the impossible. So let's read one of the first accounts after 400 years of silence. And I think we hear that, we don't understand that. But 400 years, a group of people that have been like, okay, we have not heard anything from God lately. What's going to happen? 400 years of waiting for a Messiah. And all of a sudden, God shows up to a family. Not an announcement to a society. It was to a family. 400 years of silence. I just think about, we go maybe 2 days, and sometimes it's, but we as in our modern society, like, I haven't heard from God. He feels so distant. 400 years. People had not, they're like, are we still go with this Messiah thing? 400 years. People have died and gone, right? And they're just waiting for the Messiah. 400 years of silence. Nothing, not a zip, zilch. I want to make sure I'm hammering that, because we in our modern society, I feel so distanced from God. I don't feel him anymore. He's not at work. What did he do? It's right. It's like, it's not about what he's done for me lately. He already did it. And the 400 years of silence, they don't have Jesus yet, right? They're waiting for that Messiah. We, at this point, have Jesus, and it's like, oh, wait, I'm grateful for that. And there's nothing more God needs to do in our life. Every time he shows up and does things in your life and blows you away, that's God saying, I see you. He doesn't have to, and it shouldn't dictate our feeling and our dedication to him for what he's done for me lately. That's gross thinking inside our relationship with God. So let's get to Luke chapter 1. Luke is the guy that's done the investigative study. We talked about this last week, I think. An investigative study on all things Jesus. He interviewed all kinds of people, and okay, I'm going to write this down so that people may believe. Here we go. Luke chapter 5. This is how we're 5 verses into what we call the Christmas story, okay? When Herod was king of Judea, there was a Jewish priest named Zechariah. I love Luke's writing because he's always giving you timestamps. He's always telling you, fact check me on this. This is a real place, real people. Here is the details you need to find the time period. So when Herod the king of Judea was there was a Jewish priest named Zachariah. He was a member of the priestly order of Abijah, and his wife was Elizabeth, who was also from the priestly line of Aaron. Zachariah and Elizabeth were righteous in God's eyes, careful to obey all the Lord's commands and regulations. They had no children because Elizabeth was unable to conceive, and they were both very old. In this day and age, you don't want anyone to write these things around your name if you're a female. Barren, you're old. It pretty much says you're a has-been, you're washed up, something's wrong with you, God doesn't love you because you didn't get a child. And it's still, you feel that today. Families trying to figure out how to conceive and have children. And they struggle with some things, but not the pressure of culture. Culture today is a lot of felt emotions going to those that are struggling to create a family. They're always met with, oh my gosh, how can we help? Back then, it was more, what's wrong with you? Which only heaps the feelings that a woman would already have. So Luke's trying to paint the picture of the setup. It's worth mentioning. Let's get to Luke chapter 1, verse 8 now. One day, Zechariah was serving God in the temple, for his order was on duty that week. As was the custom of priests, he was chosen by lot to enter the sanctuary of the Lord and burn incense. While the incense was burning, a great crowd stood outside and began to pray. Now, this is important for you to understand. Daily, this was happening. It was 2 times a day. Incense would be burned, and the smoke would be going. It's not. Incense don't create like a big roaring fire where it produces heat. You're burning incense, one for the smell, but also for the aroma to ascend into heaven, that you would see the smoke. It produces a lot of smoke. When the Jewish people in Jerusalem saw the temple had smoke coming up and rising, it was an indicating factor for them. Stop what you're doing and pray. And in the Jewish law, it was talking about how this was a symbol of their prayers ascending to the presence of God. It was all to remind them, hey, when you pray, your prayers are going to the ears of God. You're not praying to some made-up pocus-pocus kind of crazy stuff. Our prayers are being heard by God. They're ascending to heaven, just like the smoke's going up in the sky. So it was all strategically done. So Zechariah, picked by lot, meaning they rolled a dice who's going in, because the priest really didn't want to go in there because it was like the odds were not in your favor. You would put bells around on your feet and rope because you're going into the presence of God. And if you weren't pure, if you didn't do the religious ceremony right, when you stood before God to do the offering, you died in the presence of God. And so if the bell stopped jingling, they would pull the body out. It's crazy. So you're like, I don't really want this job, so we go to a lot system. So his dice were rolled. Zechariah comes in. He's doing the incense. Crowds are forming outside this place, so there's a lot of people around. Luke chapter 1, verse 11, we pick up in the story. While Zechariah was in the sanctuary, an angel of the Lord appeared to him standing to the right of the incense altar. Now, here is, I should have brought a picture today of what it looks like in the temple, so you would understand where the angel was standing. Like Luke's trying to tell you, hey, I know exactly where the angel appeared. It wasn't just like in the room somewhere. It was like physically standing to the right of in the sanctuary. And so, verse 13. Zechariah, verse 12, sorry. Zechariah was shaken and overwhelmed with fear when he saw him. But the angel said, don't be afraid, Zechariah. God has heard your prayer. Your wife Elizabeth will give you a son, and you are to name him John. I put in my notes just the word impossible. It's impossible.
I just thought of something too. It's funny. You're probably reading this. I've been reading this all month. But I just thought of this. Like, if Elizabeth is like, or if both of them are like, how can this be? She's well in her age. We'll get to that. What if he stopped praying? Like, what if she got so old that he, like, it wasn't in his daily prayer anymore, Because to him, it stopped being possible. And then here's Gabriel is like, God has heard your prayer, and he's probably like, what if he was like, I haven't prayed that in so long, and God still heard it, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
because
that's cool to think about.
I do think God hears all of our prayers, and the timing of when we think that prayer needs to be answered doesn't line up to his timing.
Right.
Because what if they did pray at 40, they're praying for a child, right? Like, oh, and
Right.
God gives it, it's like, oh yeah. The laws of nature say that's possible.
Right.
So I got a public address announcement really quick to those in the studio. The puppy is up. Can we take him outside real quick? Just throw him out the door ledge, and then let him go do his business so we don't have anything. Come here. Everybody would like to see.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that
little
guy.
boy.
Look at that guy.
Just a pause in the discussion.
Yeah, the discussion. Because again,
Oh, my God.
this is the laws of physics,
He's
everyone.
So cute.
He needs to go to the bathroom. Puppies, when they wake up, they got to go pee. Go outside. Okay. Pause for a puppy break. Who doesn't want that kind of pause? But so when you can come get him, Ledge, you can show your Legend's like, do I get on camera? Yeah, just grab him. Okay. Puppy break back on schedule. But I think we might stop praying the certain thing, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, God's like, it's the right time for that prayer you prayed for years ago. And so it is, we understand that in this, the age of them, well past bearing age. So this is the impossible. This is not probable. Okay, this is
Right.
God doing the impossible. So let me ask this question. What are the impossible things you're praying for right now? You don't need to put them in the chat because I know that there's a lot of things for you to process on. But don't give up on the prayers. And have patience with God that his timing is right. Because this story wouldn't have made it in the Bible. 40 years old. Elizabeth. She became pregnant all of a sudden. That's their story. I mean, we don't have heaps of those running around, but you do deep dive on social media and you're starting to go, oh yeah, 50-year-old just gave birth, right? It's like modern technology allows, like, you know, let's say someone that was barren all of a sudden figured out what it would take with technology to get them to bear a child. It's like, look, we figured it out. But when it's like you stop all of those things and told, no way, Jose, you cannot have a child, and then all of a sudden you're pregnant, it's like, oh, we didn't figure it out. Look what God did. And maybe I should polish up that miracle thing because I kept saying laws of physics. I think it's laws of nature. Miracles go against the laws of nature. Let's broaden that, okay? Laws of nature, because now it's just not physics. It's a whole lot of...
Right, that makes sense.
So, what's the impossible you're going through, and what's the impossible you're praying through? Don't stop. This should be an encouragement to keep praying. Let's get back to Luke chapter 1, verse 16. He will prepare the people for the coming of the Lord. He will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and he will cause those who are rebellious to accept the wisdom of the godly. They're talking about John the Baptist here. The angel's still talking about him, okay? Maybe you're like, okay, we're talking about miracles. What is an angel? Angels are messengers from heaven that take on a physical form. Okay, this is not a spirit where she's like smoke or fog fills the room and all of a sudden that's an angel. No, these are physical beings that live in God's presence. And there are only two angels in the Bible by name. Joey, do you know the names of these angels? There's only two.
Gabriel.
Okay. Took the easy one.
Yeah.
Took the easy one. Dwayne, do you know the
Michael?
second one?
Michael?
Okay, what? Okay, now they both have roles. It's very clear that they have roles. What is Michael's role?
See, I'm trying to think which one's the archangel.
That's
Was that
Gabriel.
Michael? That was Gabriel. Okay.
What then? Hold on, Lily's. We'll let Lily. She's
No, I just remember.
okay. Archangel. Why is he the archangel then?
I don't know.
Oh, what
I
is
don't
an
know. I don't-
archangel?
All I remember and know in my brain at this moment is that I know Gabriel's name is associated with archangel.
Okay, but is that found in scriptures? Or is that us making that up?
Don't know.
Oh, interesting.
It's just somewhere in my brain
Okay,
that is going ding ding. Those
Right.
are associated.
but you don't know if
together.
it's biblical
Is
or
Michael from the Old Testament?
not. Michael is the one that is usually dealing with some kind of action, war.
Sure.
Michael is the one that blows the trumpet, I believe. And Gabriel is the messenger of God. Anytime Gabe shows up, he's got a message.
So Michael's going to blow the trumpet when
Michael's
Jesus
not
returns?
a messenger. You don't want Michael on your...
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to poke, but so if Michael's not a messenger, but angels are messengers from God, then is he?
Yeah, he's an angel, but like he's still bringing a different form of message. Like this is the action. This is what God's gonna do, and now he's leading.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gabriel is the messenger. So Gabe, as I will refer to him here, is hanging with Zechariah. So they're having this good old conversation. I don't think Zechariah is really having a conversation with him, but Gabriel just said, "Hey, you guys are gonna give birth to a baby boy, and you're gonna name him John." Like, and I just think we got to pause there for those that are future parents or whatever. I do think names mean a big deal. If they didn't, I think God would have told Zechariah and Mary, name them whatever you want. Whatever's trending right now, use those names. But there was always their strategic name picked and chosen for different reasons. So we got, let's get to Zach's response to Gabe. Gabe just saying, hey, your wife that wasn't pregnant, we heard your prayer. She's going to be pregnant and going to give birth in 9 months or so, and you're going to name him John. Luke chapter 1, verse 18. Zechariah's response, he says, how can I be sure this will happen? I'm an old man now, and my wife is also well along in the years. Now, the way he asks this,
it's kind of like a questioning, like.
Yeah. It's not. It's always a question because it's got a question mark. But the tone I read this isn't like it's a questioning of authority. That's what it is. It's not a question of like I want. Lily often does it.
It's like, yeah, right.
What did you ask me the other day? I was like, do you really care how I'm doing this?
I don't know.
She does this all the time, Dwayne. We'll be in a conversation and I say we're gonna do this, and now she doesn't care one bit how we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do. Like, she doesn't even understand the science behind what we're going to do. And that's okay. But she wants to know how we're going to do this. And we're pausing, and we got... She started...
Oh, it was about the production for Christmas Eve.
Okay, Christmas Eve, we got a big production we're going to do. Oh, this is what it was, Dwayne. This is perfect. I remember now. We have to wire up a dimmer pack that we're going to use, okay? Mm-hmm. And so, Stephen, can you put Dwayne on the screen so I can see him? Okay, so a dimmer pack. And I was like, we're going to make...
I still don't know how this is happening.
My point exactly.
I was thinking about it this morning. I was like,
so I go, we're going to make a dimmer pack so we can dim the lights on and off. It'll be great. And she goes, how are we going to do that? I was like, we're just going to get dimmers and we're going to wire them up. Right, how are we going to wire them? And I just paused because I was slightly frustrated with this. Like, this has nothing to do with the production of your first question. She now wants to know. And I'm like, does it really matter? It does. Full-on diagrams later, 45 minutes of it, of trying to explain to her how we're going to do this. Waste of time because she's like, I don't get it. And I was like, it doesn't even actually do anything for what you need to worry about. You're not responsible for it. You don't have to worry about it. And so it was very funny. It's a bit of her questioning. Well, how's this going to happen? Like, how are you going to pull this one off, Scott? Really, that's the question. She wants to know if I know my stuff about a dinner pack. And you just get frustrated with the question because it's like, you don't care. You don't really want to know. You're just questioning if I know what I'm talking about. That's what it felt like. Dwayne's like,
No. I feel her. Like, if it comes down to her and, like, it's something that she has to do, like, being the second person in on the whole what's going on big picture-wise, she wants just to know to where she can help pull it off the way that you...
Yeah. Give her a good heart, Dwayne.
It's for real. It was like backstory of this. I'm owning this. I'm mostly owning this. God's helping me, but it's the students.
What?
Students
It's
putting
50-50.
this on. It's 50-50, but like I packed my car yesterday full of stuff, and I'm like, like I'm hoping that this dimmer shows up because I got everything it needs. So, anyways, that's a little we trailed.
I
understand. Great.
I'm glad you do. I don't. Why don't you move here and join us in the office?
I would love that.
Okay. So Zechariah is now asking, how can this be? How will this happen? In a questioning, I think, okay, we haven't heard from God in 400 years, so probably not going to show up. And what you're talking about is impossible. Zero chance is going to happen. So let's get into this now as you understand the question. In Zechariah's response, verse 18. I'm an old man and my wife is well along in her years. Then the angel said, I am Gabriel. I stand in the very presence of God. And it was he who sent me to bring you this good news. But now, since you don't believe what I said, you will be silent and unable to speak until the child is born, for my words will be certainly be fulfilled at the proper time. Gabe gets irritated. God gets irritated. Because it wasn't a question of how's this going to get done? Can you just give me? It's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe that God can do this. It's a little bit of slight of frustration of like, where you been at for 400 years? You haven't done anything in 400 years, and this is what we're going to do. This is how you're choosing to come on the scene. And oftentimes what we find our frustration with God is because we don't know the big picture. We don't know that, like in this story, Zechariah doesn't know the Christmas story is being written, that the Messiah that has been foretold for thousands of generations now is beginning. And he's part of the story. And he doesn't understand that God is beginning the impossible with him. And oftentimes when we pray, we just got to be comfortable with those things. We got to be okay with these things. Now, before we get to Mary's encounter, we want you guys to, we've been doing the Advent candles. And this is week 4 in Advent. It's been fun to do with all of you taking a journey through Advent. Maybe you grew up in a church that did it, the lighting of the candles, and it's just to focus us the theme of the week. We want to take a chance or a moment for you guys to just listen to the Advent, and then we'll be back and talk about Mary's encounter with the same angel, Gabe. We'll be right back. Enjoy this.
In week 4 of Advent, we light the candle of love, or the angel candle. From Luke chapter 1, verses 30 through 32. But the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his father David.
I hope you enjoy the journey that we've been doing with Advent. It's been fun to listen to. You might hear a puppy whining in the background. He's looking for a place to sleep now, and he's not in his bed, and it's breaking Lily's heart. And so it's unusual that we have a puppy in here, but welcome to live production. We figured instead of putting him in a cage for 12 hours today, he could be out and about for a few hours, which makes his grandma, my mom, very happy that we're doing that for. She's going, oh, what a good puppy dad. Your mom's like that, isn't it, with your dog?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's adopted him as a grandson for sure.
100%.
Yeah, which is great. I like that. Okay, well, now we're going to get into Mary's encounter with Gabe. Gabe has direct orders to bring the Messiah story into to life, I suppose, with being a messenger. Luke chapter 1, verse 26 now. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, so John is in the womb 6 months now, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a village of Galilee. We skipped through all of that. There's so much being said there with Gabriel in Nazareth. Okay, Nazareth is a nowhere place. People weren't like, hey, I want to move to Nazareth when I grow up. They're like, I want to move out of Nazareth. It's just not a place, a destination, but that's where the Messiah is going to be raised. And so Gabe goes to Nazareth in a village in Galilee to a virgin named Mary. She was engaged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of King David. Gabriel appeared to her and said, "Greeting, favored woman, the Lord is with you." That's some stuff being said. Both times Gabriel had shown up, who he's addressing, he says, hey, you're highly favored, or we find out that when Gabe shows up to Elizabeth and Zachariah, that they are in right standing with God. I want you to take inventory of your life as you're praying your prayers. Are you the roadblock to your prayers being answered because you're not in right standing with God? How can God bless when somebody's in a season of disobedience? Right? It's not, if my kids this afternoon sneak cookies, I don't reward them with more cookies. Right? I don't go, oh, you were deceptive? Oh man, why don't you open up a new Christmas gift right now? But that's how we behave with God. I know over here in my life, over here, God, I'm not doing the right thing. I'm disobedient. But ignore that and give me favor, or as Elizabeth said in our chat earlier, give me blessing over here. It's confusing. It is confusing for a bystander, but you know it doesn't make sense. So Gabe shows up 3 times. Here's the cool thing. Gabriel shows up 3 times in Scripture. Mary and Elizabeth. Lily distracted with the puppy, so we're going to give her, who's the third person that Gabriel...
That Gabe shows up to?
In Scriptures, who's the third? And I'll give you, it's in the Old Testament.
Moses.
Moses. Did a angel ever appear to Moses, Dwayne?
No.
Okay, so
Oh, it was
Moses
just
is
a
not
guess.
It was just a guess. It's fair, though.
I mean, yeah.
It was fair. It was fair.
Is it Abraham?
Abraham!
No.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
that Michael. That was Michael because he was about to bring the action.
I don't know what
Was it?
I don't know what the angel's name was for Abraham.
So it wasn't Abraham? Or it is?
No, it was not. I don't know. Like sometimes angels show up through our scriptures and we don't get their names.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, hey, an angel comes up, it's one of
Right.
these. It's just these are the names we know of. Gabriel shows up to Daniel. He's the third guy. And if you want to look that up, it's Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 15 through 17, and Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 21. That's where Gabriel first comes on the scene. Hops into the scriptures. And then isn't heard from, again, at least by name, until we bump into Zechariah. This is crazy, okay? More than 500 years in span between Daniel and Zechariah. 500 years. I just think that's pretty wild. Okay, we're going to Luke chapter 1, verse 29. Confused, this is Mary, confused and disturbed, Mary tried to think of what the angel could mean. Don't be afraid, Mary, the angel told her, for you have found favor with God. Favor with God. Isn't that what we want? Don't we want God's favor? Now, here's the beautiful thing. God's favor is not impossible. God's favor, God's blessing is not impossible. It's probable when we live a life that can have favor or being blessed. You've got to take inventory in your own life. Do you live a life where God can go, you're blessable? I can give you favor in your finances, in job promotion. If you're in a season of where, man, God hasn't showed up in my life anywhere. Now, this isn't an indicator that life is like you're perfect. Like, oh, look, God showed up, so I'm sin-free. I'm not doing anything wrong. There are times, I mean, look at King Solomon, or King Saul, sorry. God showed up at different times, and he was an idiot. God showed up at different times in David's life. David was an idiot. So it doesn't mean that just because God shows up that you don't have things going on in your life you still got to work on. So you can't take that as an indicator. Oh, look what God did with my finances, so I'm all good. God and I are good right now. Nope, not cool. But one way to begin to ensure more of God's favor and blessing is to be in right standing with God, to have favor. She's confused. He says, don't worry. Both of these people, okay, both of these people that Gabriel was talking about had characteristics that were remarkable. That are like what you hope your kids grow up to be like. That we forget as adults that we should still be striving for. But Mary, this thing that's going to happen when Mary's about to get pregnant is impossible. It's not probable. She's a virgin. She's not slept with anybody. So this is impossible. And people of her day, here's the deal, because of where she's from, that's why it's a big deal that it says Nazareth and then breaks even down more, that it's Galilee, which tells you it's even the smaller part. It's like those that lived in her city were like, that's the armpit of our city. It was not the highlight. And God's going to go, we're coming to the most unlikely people, the most likely spot. No one would see this coming, and we're going to do something impossible. So you might be able to just look at your own life going, my abilities, my experience, my education makes me unlikely for a candidate for God to use in his services. Sounds like you're primed for a setup. But can your character match the position you are in life in God's eyes? That's for you to answer with God. Because in Matthew chapter 9, Jesus says this. After his disciples asked, well, who can be saved? Jesus looked at him, the disciples. This is, again, we're jumping to Matthew 19. Who can be saved then? Who are you saying? Jesus looked at him and said, with man, this is impossible to save, to bring salvation. But with God, now Jesus is about to broaden this thing with God, give you a big window into who God is. He goes, but with God, all things are possible. Not a few things. Not just salvation. We're going to stretch this category. Yes, first and foremost, we save. Big deal. But let's broaden this to all things are possible with God. There are no impossibilities. But I do think, not a measurable equation where you and I get to figure out the mathematical equation to get God to show up. That's not right. That's something else. That's magical. I do think in God's mind, there are formulas in where he shows up. Like, no, they're primed for the impossible. They're not going to steal the credit. There's a whole category where God goes to disciples because the disciples are like, well, who sinned for this person to be born handicapped? Was it that person or did their parents? And Jesus says, you got it all wrong. This has happened. New category, everybody. For God to get the honor, for God to get the glory. So if you want God's favor and blessing in your life and you want to be in a position where God could go, I can do something with that individual despite their circumstances, be in a position where you give God all the credit. All of it. Your job, your money, the year you've had, give God the credit. That's the best spot to be because it's true. It's not fake. Don't fake it. This is not fake it till you make it. No, you got to believe this because God knows the heart. Because that's the thing we see about these people, Zach and Mary, is that their heart was right. Elizabeth, her heart was right. Now back to the story in Luke chapter 31, Mary and Gabe. You will conceive and give birth to a son and you will name him Jesus. Big deal. Now she wouldn't have heard the word Jesus. Jesus is Latin. She would have heard the name Joshua. They don't really pronounce their J, and I'm not very good at Hebrew, but she would have heard Joshua, which falls in line of who they were waiting for. They thought they were going to get Joshua because Joshua in the Old Testament was a big leader, warrior campaign kind of guy, big deal. And so they're looking for the next Joshua. So they would have heard Joshua. But when in the Bible got translated into Latin, they thought it was confusing to have a Joshua in the Old Testament and New Testament. Would people be able to catch the differences? They used the word Jesus because, gotta understand this, because the word Jesus means something, okay? And so you gotta understand this so that you don't miss this. But so does John. So this is crazy. When Zach and Lizzie were giving birth to John, John means the Lord is gracious. Think about that one, Joey. I can see you get the wheels cranking for me here. Uh-huh. The Gabe's message is you're to name your son John. They would know that the word John means the Lord is gracious. You tracking it? You see what got the message that even through the name of their child to Zach and Elizabeth there. Do you get it?
Like
no?
The Lord is gracious, like giving them a child?
Yeah, be confident, man. Come on.
Well,
Yep.
I'm learning.
You're learning. So we got John, the Lord is gracious. You get Joe and Mary, they get the message from Gabe and says you're going to name him Jesus. And the word Jesus means the Lord saves. So when it got translated to Latin into Jesus, they just chose a word that he was already given, which was the Lord. Okay, so it wasn't like all of a sudden you're like, all of a sudden some people are like, oh, my faith is rocked all of a sudden. His real name is Joshua, and why Jesus? Because it was, I heard somebody said this, it was at a one-wheel race. They're like, oh, I know who Joseph is. Joseph had a crazy story from the Bible, and they literally said it with full confidence. I might have said it online here, where they were like, yeah, Joseph, man. He was thrown into the ditch by his brothers and sold for slavery. And then he translated dreams and then got out of jail. And then he was Jesus' dad. What a wild story. And you're like, wow, that's thousands of years old that guy would be. And so when the writers were trying to write, they were trying to make sure that people knew the distinguishing of the two. A little bit of history for you. But both names prescribed by God, not chosen by human parents' name. These names are through God. God acts graciously and saves his people. And those are the two pieces that brings the new message, the good news. And even their names, when you put them together, God acts graciously and saves his people. He will not withhold salvation from anyone who sincerely comes to him. That should excite you. And then Mary asks in verse 34, how can this be? I'm a virgin. And the angel replies with the Holy Spirit. He will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Now, we're running out of time here. And I got to break this one part down because it's a pretty big deal, because we just go, oh, yeah, virgin birth. Here's why it has to be a virgin. Because man carries the seed of sin. It starts with Adam. And just like when we talked about a couple weeks ago, like in kingdoms, the bloodline flows through. When we were talking about family tree last week, of Jesus' family tree, the bloodline follows the man. So with the seed of sin. So if Mary and Joseph would have conceived, there would have been sin in Jesus, because man carries the seed of sin. Okay? That's why she's got to be a virgin. Also, being clean. Because if the seed of sin is within the man's semen, okay? Somebody's like, I got my little kid here. You just used what I got to explain. It was in our scripture last week, so it's cool. It's a free game now.
Free game.
Because the seed of sin is there, the minute sex has happened, unclean. It's not the act is unclean unless done outside of marriage. It's what the man represents. So I know that's very theological for you, but it makes this whole story wow, and God dealing with the impossible. Wait, I'm a virgin. She has to be a virgin, or Jesus isn't the perfect lamb. That's why it matters. That's why it's a big deal. And then, man, her response is, I am the Lord's servant. May everything you have said about me become true. What? What a response. She didn't go, well, man, I'm going to be... when she said yes to this, think about it. She's going to lose friends over this. People aren't going to believe her. You know, when she's getting pregnant, well, you know what? No, I didn't sleep around. No, this is God's baby. Yeah, right? Are you kidding? No. There's so many stories popping in my mind. I just hope this resonates with you. At the end of the day, I hope you're sitting there going, okay, I got to remind you again, Zachariah, Elizabeth, Mary, and Joseph, they're great candidates because of their heart. Their heart was in a good spot. It was good condition. It was, even 400 years of silence, they still believed the Messiah was coming. They had no idea he was going to use them to do it. They were in good standing with God. Is your heart in good condition? Or do you resent people? Are you resenting that God isn't doing what you want him to do? What's the condition of your heart? That's where we're leaving you today. What is the condition of your heart? And only you know. And you know what God's saying, no, that area in your life, that's too dark. I need to shed some light on it. Which leads me to our Christmas Eve service. We're excited about having an online Christmas Eve service. Don't miss it. It's set at the moment for 8 a.m. We're going to push it to 10 a.m. because we'll be doing church service then as well. So 10 a.m. Central Time. Our Christmas Eve service will be up there. We're excited about it, but we're talking about the light of the world, shining out the darkness. And it's a good one. We sit around and we chat for a little bit, and we're excited to do that, so don't miss that. But my as Joey prays us at the end of this, prays for us, you have a conversation with God. What's the condition of your heart? Do you resent your husband, your wife? Have you not asked forgiveness? Are you tithing? Are you like, no, God, you can't have my money? Well, that's a dark spot. You got to surrender to God. Are you struggling with the fear of the future? I'm unworthy to do this. And you got to go, I'm worthy. God can show up and show off at any point in my life. Joey, will you pray for us?
Yeah. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for just your word. I thank you for just, I just ask you to reveal to us the condition of our hearts, and that just make it known, and that we would have the strength, and you would help us fix those areas to recondition our heart, and to make it more moldable and soft. And Jesus, we just thank you for your love and your grace and your mercy, and just so thankful for you coming as a baby to be our Savior, Jesus. And I just I'm so grateful, and I'm thankful for this community. I'm just pray that everyone would enjoy time with family in this Christmas season. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. There are so many great comments in the chat. And there's one I want to address. Marnie goes, do angels come anymore? Yes. The answer is yes. You just don't know it. And Paul says it, that when you, and I should, can you look it up where Paul says when you entertain angel, you will be entertaining angels? I'm going to read that for you so you know that it's not an opinion, because that's the danger, right? Is like Lily not. She remembers archangel, but she doesn't know if she's getting that from movies or the Bible. And sometimes it's okay to remember these things. It's just know where you get it, so it brings to life the scripture. Lily, do you have it?
It says, do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it.
Ooh, see, that means you don't know.
Hebrews 13:2.
Okay, so it's not Paul. It's an unknown author. Sorry. But Hebrews says that, man, when you're doing see any meet thing for some people, side of the road, you don't know that you're actually entertaining an angel. So that tells you, yeah, they're all over the place, and you don't know it. So that's why we offer kindness. Mm-hmm. It's easy to do. And then thank you, everybody, saying we missed the live. Thank you for hanging in there while we are doing what we need to do here locally. We have a big old heart to come back here and do live every Sunday, okay? We constantly talk about it in the leadership meeting. This is not a forever thing, so hang in there. We got a new year coming. If we can figure it out to be live we have a big old heart to do that, okay? So we're not quitting what we're doing here. We want to do this better. I think what's allowing us to do is we pause being live, giving us some time to go, how do we do this? How do we make this better to reach more people? Because there are billions of people on YouTube, billions. 500 are subscribed to our channel, and we get on an average of 100 people watching. We want that number to grow. And so we're trying to figure out how do we do that, because we want to spread the good news to many as possible. We want to meet the next Dan and Jen and their family, and the Marnies and the Katie and the Steves and all the names that we know sit here weekly. We want to meet the new. And so we have a heart to do that. So we're looking at technology. We're looking at a lot of things in the new year. So hang in there. Hang in there. It is a heavy heart on this topic for us, as we are just taking care of some of those things that we need to hear, we are a church in 2 locations, but with the same staff. So sometimes we have to be able to switch. And so as we're switching around, and we're doing our best, okay? But it doesn't mean we don't love you, care for you, and don't have you in our prayers. We do. We understand that we are your church. We are your pastors, and we don't take that lightly. And so as we get these chances to come on live, we're trying to figure out those rhythms. So that said, hang in there. Dwayne, thank you for being with us today. We love seeing your face, what you're wearing.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
Dwayne.
Christmas, Dwayne.
Merry Christmas.
You know what? The other day, one of our kids, I don't know why this came up, but it was out of the blue, Dwayne. And there was none. Oh, your Christmas picture came. Yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't
So cute.
Very
Elizabeth, you look phenomenal.
Yeah, well done.
That hair blowing
Lighting.
in the wind. Oh my gosh.
It was just so good, so good. But with the kid, one of the I think is inspired goes, why did Dwayne shave his head?
Oh, what?
That was his question.
Oh. It's been a while, Spy.
Hey, here's what was the here. This was a straight up dad move. I didn't answer the question. Because I was like, man, if I answer this question in any form, he takes it and runs with it, I'm like, I don't need him going up to Dwayne going, Dwayne, I heard my dad said you shave your head because of this. And it's like, I ignored it. So there could be a good chance that he sees you one time. You go, Dwayne, why'd you shave your head? I'll let you answer it.
It's his to answer.
Yeah.
I see my middle schoolers all the time, and that's always a question. So it's okay.
Okay. Oh, great. I'm going to let you answer it.
Life's a lot easier when you're not easily offended.
Yo, that'll preach, Dwayne. That'll preach. That said, on New Year's, the Sunday before New Year's, we have a great vlog style teaching, Dwayne, that we are. So it's going to be us setting it up in the studio, and then we're going to go to this vlog style teaching that we try to bring Ezekiel chapter 47 to life. So we're excited for all of those that call this home to be able to watch that on, is it that 29th? December 29th?
Yep.
That is going to be awesome for you guys to experience us trying to bring that to life in the fall at a camp. You're gonna chuckle, all of you, at Lily and I doing stupid things so that you might learn scripture. So don't miss that either. It's already posted, so you know it's coming. And so I think some of those things, and again, back on Dwayne, that topic of us pre-recording, some of it does help us be able to figure out how to have our breaks, because sometimes even to go live means we're working on it throughout the week to make sure we're ready to go. Pre-recording sometimes allows us to be able to have a break with our families. And so being able to pre-record like the 29th, it's pre-recorded, but you're not going to miss it. It's done on purpose differently. And it'll be cool to hear everybody's responses, Dwayne, on that. Maybe that's what we do on the pre-recorded stuff, is do that vlog style, bring scriptures to life. But it gives us that chance to have a break as a staff, too, to not have to get in here and get things turned on and all those things early in the morning. So we covered a lot today, Dwayne. Thanks for your family picture card. Wonderful. Have a very Merry Christmas. Have you ever called one thing? I wrote in my notes, Elizabeth, and then I said Lizzie. Do you ever call Elizabeth? That's a nickname for Elizabeth, isn't it, Lizzie?
Lizzie? I've never called her Lizzie.
Maybe today you'll start.
In like text, I'll say Liz. So
yeah, Liz.
we have a lot of people that like refers to her as Liz. And it's like, yeah, I never refer to her as Liz in person. I just did it for typing out Elizabeth on the phone.
Who wants to do
like,
that?
Just
No.
Liz.
Oh, I got that. I don't think I would not feel comfortable calling Elizabeth Liz. Because her name is Elizabeth. Okay.
Lizzie, there you go. That's
Lizzie,
a nickname now.
What's up, Lizzie? Yeah, I don't think she's gonna like that one she'll laugh at me. That's what she'll do. Pick up a mouse and throw it at me. Because she does that, everyone. She can just snatch them out of. I watched her do it. It's impressive. All right, Dwayne. Merry Christmas. It was just going on and on here.
See you, Dwayne.
We want the pressure later. Merry Christmas, Dwayne. Joey, thanks for being here. Lily, will you give us how they can give if they're still hanging with us?
Yes. To give your regular tithes or over and above that, you can text the word unlocks to 77977. Or you can go to unlockchurch.com/give. We're also still doing Greatest Gift, which is an opportunity to give over and above your regular tithes and offerings this Christmas season to really just set the tone for 2025 and what's to come. And this is an extra gift back to God this season. So we're challenging everyone on that, and we're still collecting that through the end of the new year. And you can go to unlockchurch.com/give. Just make sure you click the Greatest Gift button.
Yes. Thank you for everyone that's taking part in Greatest Gift. I like how Lily said that. It's a great setup for 2025, really. Allows us to be able to do the things we've been talking about. Everyone, if we don't see you in the chat on Christmas Eve and things of that nature, have a very Merry Christmas from us to you. Thank you for being a part of Unlock Church. Thanks for being here today. Joey, thanks for being here. Stephen, good to have you in studio again.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Legend, thank you. Solo, great job. He's back. He put himself back to sleep in the box, everyone. We'll see all of you on the next one, because this one is sadly coming to an end.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.